George Vredenberg joins me now. George, good to see you, my friend. I thought of you immediately when this news came out. You have argued that basically don't let perfect be the enemy of the good, but others have argued that this drug may not even be good. Explain to me your perspective on it.
Well, patients have no ambiguity about this. We have been waiting for another drug in Alzheimer's for 18 years. This is the first disease-modifying drug, something that actually modifies underlying course of the disease. And there was evidence that it is going to positively affect clinical benefit. But the FDA basically says, modifies the underlying course of the disease. Let's do another trial to confirm our reasonable belief that, in fact, it has a clinical benefit. So Biogen will be required to do another study to confirm the clinical benefit from this drug. And we, of course, patients care as much as anyone about the clinical benefit of this drug. And so we'll be watching that and indeed perhaps taking our own steps to monitor the effectiveness of this drug.
Let's be clear about what this drug is purported to do. Part of the problem with Alzheimer's is that ultimately it will kill you, but the stuff it does to you in between, the symptoms, are devastating financially, emotionally, on every level. When you say it modifies the course of the disease, the literature on this suggests that it modifies the symptoms of the disease, but not the end result in which death occurs.
Well, it slows down the course of the disease. The clinical trials on this drug were done in people with mild cognitive impairment, which is the very first sign of symptoms. And so taking the drug then and slowing down the course of the disease at that point can extend the functional ability of people to live a normal life for another year or 2 years. We don't know exactly how long the benefit will last. That is something that we can assess as we go through the subsequent study that Biogen is required to do. But no, it will not, in the end, it will not stop the disease. It will not stop the progression. It won't cure it, but it is the first drug in class, not the last drug in class. It is the first mover. We patients have been waiting for the first mover. This drug is the first mover. It will not be the last. This is the first chapter of getting at this disease and preventing it. It is certainly not the last chapter.
There are fewer than a handful of cancers left that have less than a 5-year survival rate. We've battled most cancers. Obviously, cancer of the brain is one of those that is still difficult because we don't understand the brain as much as we understand everything from the neck down. What is the timeline, in your opinion, for the ability to find Alzheimer's, determine that a patient has it, establish good markers, and ultimately make this a survivable illness until we have a cure?
Well, we have 2 or 3 steps that we really have to take here. First is to get a blood-based biomarker, a blood-based means of diagnosing this disease. There's one product on the market now. There'll be more in the next year or 2. So that will significantly increase the accessibility of diagnostics, and that will lower the cost of diagnostics. So that's the first thing. Second, then we need to find a drug that actually will be efficacious, benefit before symptoms appear and slow down the disease or stop it before symptoms. My judgment, that's about 5-6 years away. There are now in early clinical trials vaccines for Alzheimer's that one would take 10 or 15 years before you would get symptoms that might actually prevent the disease. That's probably in the 5 to 10 year range.
George, I knew you'd be the guy to get here to talk about this. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the work that you and your colleagues do in the fight against Alzheimer's. I appreciate this conversation this morning. George Vredenberg is the chairman and co-founder of Us Against Alzheimer's.